Hey guys, it's Katie Moen with Colletta Street Capital, and today we're going to be talking about a couple different concepts that all go back to due diligence. But here we go. So the first one is hurry up and wait, and I put it in like the Halloween text there. Hurry up and wait. So I don't know how many of you feel like this in the note world, but we hurry up and wait a long time, a lot in this business. And right now with these two assets, we are hurry upping, and we already hurried up. And now we're waiting for the demand letters have been sent. So now we have 30 days of waiting. I can't remember who, but a note investor suggested that another note investor in our mastermind, we were talking with him, and he suggested that we put it into our calendar so we get a notification at that 30 day. So several days prior to that 30 day. And he always sends an email to his lawyers several days prior saying, hey, 30 days is up in a few days. And then he has like an alarm on his calendar go off, a notification, and lets him know that it's actually the day of the 30. So he sends it also another email to the lawyer to let them know that it is the 30th day of that notification. So it keeps the processing and the waiting down to a minimum, making sure that the lawyer is moving forward with all this stuff, because we feel like we submit, give everything we can, and then we just wait for the process, and sometimes the waiting gets hard. So while we've been waiting for these two for the 30 days, I think we're about halfway through on both of these. So while we've been waiting for these to go through, we've been doing some due diligence on some good, some bad, and some ugly, as you can see. 3 of them are good, 2 of them, I guess one is bad and one is ugly. So the Coke machine one, I just had to throw this in here. We found it a couple weeks ago from a tape, and I put it on Facebook, I know, and so some of you have already seen it. But it's just, it's pretty awesome when you start going through on Google Images and seeing some of these homes and their yards and what they have on them. A Coke machine. I mean, that sounds delightful. So this middle one in here, the ugly, it was on a note we got this past week. And so how we do it, I know everyone kind of does their due diligence a little different, but how we take when we get a tape, we narrow it down first by just states that we want to work in and that we don't. And so we take certain ones out, and if that doesn't narrow it down enough, then we go to other things and slowly kind of narrow it down to a working amount of assets that we can do due diligence on. And so we narrow it down, I think, to about 7. And then from there, I just copy and paste the address into Google Images and just do quick images. And if it's something we like and looks good in the images, we'll highlight it and go back and do more due diligence. So then I narrow it down even further just by their image themselves. So as you can see, this middle one, that was one of the images I got. So I had to screenshot it because it was just amazing. So this would be a property. It was on a good sized property. It wasn't in a bad area or anything. It was just, it's been abandoned and fallen apart. And this was actually a picture on Google Images, I want to say from 2 or 3 years ago. So who knows what it looks like now. So if you're going to buy this note, you would be buying it to tear down the home, because there's no way that you could do any, or just sell it as is with that on it. But that's not what Colletta Street is into. So we passed on that one just because now if you were great at, if you had connections in that state and had contractors and you could easily build a home and then sell it, or if you could just sell the land and you had the connections, that would be a great investment for you. For Colletta Street, that is not a great investment for us. So, so we're passing on that one. The 3 that we narrowed it down to ultimately, some of them are in the middle of nowhere, that Google Images wouldn't even go, not even near a big university or big city, not even half an hour, 45 minutes drive to some of them are just so far out there. So we kind of eliminate those also. And these are the 3 that we were left with. So then from there, I actually look at the tape a little more thoroughly, I guess you could say, and really start looking to see what's going on with the numbers, the value, all that kind of fun stuff. And all 3 actually have foreclosure dates set for them. One on November 5th, so a few weeks away. And then the other 2 are beginning December and mid-December. So all of them have set foreclosure dates within the next 2 weeks to a month, basically, a month and a half ish. So really fast. And in the note world, really fast doesn't happen that often. And so I know there are plenty of people who buy notes this close to foreclosure, but you really have to stick with it and really focus in and work with the person you're buying it from to make sure that you get the hard collateral fast and that their serves or transfers it over and all that fun stuff before the foreclosure process, before the actual sale date, so that's in your name. I know some investors who've done it before, and it just ended up they had to reset the foreclosure sale date because but their bid price was based on it foreclosing in a month. So you have to really think about what happens if it doesn't go through foreclosure. What happens if the day before the borrower does something else, or anything could happen. There's so many things that could happen before foreclosure. So you just have to keep that in mind. Just because it's in the foreclosure process doesn't mean it's going to. So you have to keep your numbers in mind when you're doing that. So another interesting thing that I found on Zillow, one of these, I can't remember which one it is. I can't remember which one I was doing. Maybe the blue one, I think. It's actually for sale on Zillow right now. The other two actually say pre-foreclosure on Zillow, but it's actually for sale on Zillow and like two other sites. So it's been for sale since August. So they're trying to sell it. They'd lower the price in August. So they're really trying to sell it prior to the foreclosure sale, the sheriff's sale. It's interesting though, is because they are selling it for less than they owe. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out for whoever buys the note. If they end up selling it, the borrower sells it, it'd be interesting to see how that works out. So just keep in mind your due diligence and how important it is, but also keep in mind your end game and what you want. For Colletta Street, we want to reinstate is our ultimate goal always. So when we look at notes and we're doing our due diligence, we're looking with that lens, I guess, in mind, you can say, with which ones are most likely to reinstate or have paid in the last year. Clearly, none of these have. I think one is actually vacant out of the three. I think they're all 2 or 3 or 4 years behind. So it just you have to think about how you and your company, what your end game is, and make sure that you stick to that end game, or flexible, I guess, as however you want to be. But really think about what you can manage and where your knowledge lies. And if you don't have the knowledge, maybe somebody else out there does, which is probably true in this note world. So we're trying to decide if we want to move forward with these 3 or 2 or 1, or if we want to make a bid at all. So that's kind of where we are with those 3. Really exciting news for us at Colletta Street is we are talking notes. So if you're going to be in Reno beginning of November, on November 6th, we are going to be presenting. We are guest speakers at the Reno Real Estate Investors Club. So let me know if you're going to be in town. I can tell you where it's located, where we all meet up. And it'll be a good time. We're going to be talking notes and talking due diligence. So come on by, and it'd be great to have some note investors in the room with us while we present. As always, we were on the Note Closer Show podcast. We were guest hosts and interviewed episode 180, 281, 282, and 290. So if you haven't watched those, go check those out. A couple of them are marketing themselves, which is always great for whatever industry you are in. And please contact us, Katie and Chris Moten with Colletta Street Capital, and we can reach at 775-525-1222, or Chris at ColettaStreet.com, or Katie at ColettaStreet.com. Or you can find us on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or go to our website at ColettaStreet.com. Happy note hunting, and hope to hear from you.